Right, welcome back. Hopefully you've seen my ultimate Harmony replacement smart home theater remote control video that I published a few months ago. That's actually one of my highest viewed videos to date. So if you watch it, thank you. Go watch it again. If you haven't, quick recap. This was my ultimate final form Harmony replacement home theater remote control. And basically what I did was I took a AppleTV Siri Remote and put a flick switch or flick button on the back, utilizing this AirTag case. And it actually worked really well. It gave me 3 additional functions, so I could click it once for a particular scene, trigger some events with lighting, air conditioning, etc. Double click for something else, press and hold for something else, all right? And it worked really well because I've been able to control pretty much all of my AV stuff, at least for my needs, with just utilizing this remote, right? With ARC and CEC and all that other cool stuff. When you turn on your Apple TV, projector turns on, amplifier turns on, subwoofers turn on, receiver turns on, all that good stuff. So I don't really need a big, bulky remote control. Plus my beloved Logitech Harmony Elite was dying a slow death. So this actually worked out really good. I love this remote control. Small form factor, fits in the hand well. And it was something that the rest of my family didn't have to relearn because this is what we use to control the TVs everywhere else in the house. The problem was, as you've probably heard me mention in other videos, the flick button has become terribly unreliable for me. They would frequently lose pairing, and in this case, because it's not attached to something like a desk, it's not that bad. I bring it closer to the hub and reconnect it. But that gets old after a while, especially if it's Friday night, been looking forward to watching a movie, a kick back, relax, press the button expecting the lights to do their thing and the AC to do its thing and the screen to do its thing, and it doesn't work, and then I have to try and repair it. And again, I've had this issue with my nightstand flick button, my desk flick button, my back patio flick button, my refrigerator flick button, where they frequently just lose connection and I have to repair them. And that is just not smart in a smart home. But I did love the idea, right? It's not a universal remote. It's not the sofa baton, which, I spoke about. That thing has a place, but I really didn't like the ergonomics of that. This really was a pretty elegant solution, and I was able to operate everything with physical buttons, no touchscreen, no fumbling around. With my eyes closed, I can do what I need to do. So I got to thinking, how could I replicate this or level this up with something more reliable, maybe a little bit more functionality, but a similar concept, building on the Apple TV Siri Remote. So I got to thinking, what if I could leverage the most rock-solid smart home solution that I've ever seen, which is the Lutron Caseta platform, and somehow get a Pico switch onto the back of my Apple TV Siri Remote without it being a little bit too cumbersome. And then I ran across an individual on Etsy that was 3D printing these pretty nice holders for the Apple Siri Remote to give you a little bit better purchase on the remote. And I got to thinking, what if I cut a notch out in the back of that thing and put a Lutron Caseta Pico? And I found this one that's actually designed for home theaters. It actually has a button that says bright, entertain, movie, and off. So I was able to kind of route out an opening in the back, just enough to recess that ever so slightly. I wish I could have got it in there a little bit better, but this is kind of version 2 of my ultimate janky, ghetto-rigged, but very effective home theater remote. So why do this, you may ask? Again, as I mentioned, reliability, right? Nothing beats Lutron Caseta. If you don't have Lutron Caseta in your smart home, I'm not sponsored, nothing in this video is sponsored, you need to get Lutron Caseta. That stuff is just rock solid. I've had it for 7-8 years now. I've got 60 plus devices and they all just work. The batteries on these Pico remotes last about 10 years, and I've never had one fail to connect or lose its connection, right? So check, I got the reliability piece out of the way. The other piece is more options and ease of functionality. Another reason why I've been moving away from the flick buttons is because the rest of my family doesn't remember what does one press do, what does two presses do, what does three presses do, or sorry, a press and a hold. And I've seen people with little cheat sheets around their home plastered up on the wall, and that's okay, right? If that's your thing. I rather have a solution, at least this stage of my smart home journey, where a guest could come in and use everything without instruction, and obviously everyone in my family. So what a simpler solution than pressing bright if you want the lights to be bright. Pressing off if you want the lights to turn off. Pressing entertain if you want the lights on but not super bright. Or pressing movie if you want to set the mood and have the lights dim enough to watch a movie. So I was able to connect this using the Homey Pro, which I've been playing with now for about 5-6 months. And I kind of sort of like it. Probably got too much going on between Homey, HomeKit, Home Assistant, Amazon, you know who. But I do like the simplicity and ease of setup that the Homey Pro provides. Where other smart home platforms call them automations, Homey calls it a flow. And it's pretty easy to set up if then statement and add different conditions, delays, and cool things. So the way I have this thing set up, you hit the bright button, the main lights come on at 100%. The back row recessed lights come on at 100% and at about 5,000 Kelvin color temperature, 5,600 Kelvin, somewhere around there. And currently the column lights come on 100% and they're set to about 5,000 Kelvin as well. In entertain mode, the main lights come on at 75%, it's a little bit dimmer. The back row comes on 100%, but it comes down to about 2,700 Kelvin for a little more yellow of a tint, a little bit less bright and stark, and in my opinion, a little bit better for entertaining. In movie mode, all the lights turn off except for the soffit, floor lights, and column lights, and those dim down to about 18%. Again, that's my magic number. I think it's a perfect number in my room for movie watching. And in all three of those scenes, my Ecobee thermostat drops from 77 degrees down to 75 degrees because it does get warmer in here, especially with the equipment going. And then the last button is the off button. All right, I hit off, all the lights turn off, Ecobee thermostat bumps back up to 77 degrees. And that's how I would have it set up for now, right? I can add some more complexity to it, but it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and I'm loving it so far. Tell me what you guys think. One thing I did notice is that because I turned these spotlights off, the spotlights, Govee 4-inch color changing spotlights, they tend to lose connection. So when I change the color temperature, sometimes the command doesn't take the first time. So in all of these scenes, I have a 2-step command for color changing in Homey Pro. So the first command is to set to whatever color temperature, and then I have a 10-second delay and it runs that command again just in case it didn't take the first time. And it's not 100%. I'll find that they'll go kind of from yellow and you'll have one light that's hanging out that's still white and hasn't really got with the program yet, so I'll work on tweaking that. But overall, this has been a great little upgrade, hack, whatever you want to call it. It does fit in the hand quite well. The button presses are pretty firm, so far I haven't found myself accidentally pressing a button. So tell me what you guys think. Hack or crap? I don't know. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.